And we're live right now. This is Billy Smalls. This is Louder Than Music podcast. We're back from a long hiatus. I'm here with Brandon from Ashes of Luna.
Hi, how's it
And
going, world?
all right. And so you're one half. Where's the other half today?
Lauren, she's with her niece for a little birthday gathering in Orange County. So she regrets she couldn't be here today, but she's
Okay.
here in spirit,
All right. We'll
and
still
I will speak for the both of us.
sounds great. Definitely sounds good. So let's talk about Ashes of Luna. I went through listening to some of the older work you have and some of the newer items which appear first when you go onto your SoundCloud. And there's huge differences there. You say that you guys try to make music that's in between experimental and I don't want to say what's the word, not acceptable, but I think the word is acceptable, but more mainstream experimental. So,
Exactly, yeah, just something that people can enjoy and listen to and feel and are used to, kind of something comfortable. I guess that's a good word for it. Because we kind of have like a little epic sauce, as you could say, in our music. So we try to figure out, what feels good to kind of lay that out into the world,
okay.
with not being too like deep or dramatic. We want to sound fun and playful too at the same time.
Yeah, because I guess it's like some of the earlier work I was listening to. I think the first EP was The Awakening, was it? Or was
Mm.
it
Actually, that was a second
the
EP.
second? The second. Okay, I was actually listening to some tracks from that, and it
Cool.
does have a heavy, more emotional sound, like soft rock, but way on the emotional end. I like it actually, but um, well, the question I wanted to ask, kind of shooting off from that, is you guys try to make a balance, like a sound that's balanced. But what side would you naturally lean towards, more experimental or more mainstream pop sound?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, Typically, we don't try to have too many restrictions of that matter. Like, as most artists probably like to keep that in mind, but also it is important to have a direction, a trajectory, as you say. So, um, also, I guess it depends on the song too. But me personally, I really love that we can be experimental because that just means more freedom and there's no really restrictions there. But
Okay.
the mainstream stuff is kind of always, I guess, in the air in a way as to a pop sound, because that is always just a you know mainstream pop. That's feel good, that just makes you feel good and move and dance. And if that's what you want to call it, we definitely are all about that too. Our newer music is definitely more mainstream pop esque, but we still have our flavor in there, like our little epic sauce,
Yeah, I hear you. That
if you will.
that's kind of this is an interesting dialogue because it's kind of if you need experimental artists, especially in this day and age, who are pushing
Mhm,
boundaries of creativity and bringing listeners originality. But then
mhm.
there's this need. So it's because, like, okay, to further pick apart that point. So as you guys were pointing out in your bio, that you want experimental, but you also want something in between. And you said you're leaning more towards experimental. I'm getting more. Are you guys a duo that it seems kind of more like a crowd pleasing kind of group?
Yeah, I love that. That's
Uh,
beautifully said. Yeah. Because we're a very much so live band, so we definitely we think about that too when we write. I think it's a very important thing to think about.
okay, okay,
Um,
yeah. Because then
we're
that
always
can
thinking about
seem
the
like
live performance, and yeah, this would be great. Like, at a festival outside, everyone dancing and feeling this and having a good time and collectively just bonding and experimenting. That beautiful magic of music, live music with people.
exactly. Yeah, because it's almost like from a purist perspective, though, being a crowd pleaser also kind of has a negative connotation where it's like, okay,
Hmm.
you're a crowd pleaser, so you're not sticking to what your true artistry is or what your true interest
Mm,
is in that and within music, you know. I guess
yeah.
I was looking at it from that because there's some artists now that I don't know, I was speaking with I think a punk band not too long ago, and that genre is that is not popular anymore. And but they continue to make that
Yeah.
music because it's like
Right.
that's what they like. So I guess from a purist
Exactly.
perspective, do you think it's fair for someone to say you all are just kind of, I don't want to say not selling out, but being a crowd pleaser
Um,
can, you know,
yeah, that's obviously a big conversation, and everyone has that conversation. And I think about that not frequently, but here and there. It always comes up with, fellow musician friends and other artists. And I would say you got to think of it as evolving and finding yourself and not being afraid to do that and change and just be open to it in a way. Not again going back to that restraints thing. I don't think you should have any restraints, me personally, on art and music. So any other artists out there listening, you should definitely, if dude, just fucking change, man, evolve and feel, and don't be afraid to feel. And because it can get so confusing, honestly, if you think about it, and convoluted and too much to think about. Fuck it, it should be
yeah.
all about the art.
Yeah, and I just
So
brought that up because there's a struggle for that across
yeah,
music.
there is, but I definitely see what you're saying. So the happy medium, I would say, for me personally, is yeah, you always want to stay true to who you are. And I feel like that will come out too in ways naturally, also organically, if you do different things. Um, that's why it's so beautiful too to work with other people.
Absolutely.
That's why other artists do work with other people and other producers. And that's part of the magic, really, that gel. So it's still going to be you. And like, because we definitely don't want to lose us. I think that is important. You have a good point there. Yeah, you don't want to lose who you are. And I think that has to do with just staying true to who yourself and being confident and knowing what you have is special too. And just keep going, just keep creating and writing and just doing what you do, what you love. It comes from love. Like, just if you love something and do it, that's going to come out and people will love it for that.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, it's just, that being just one of the common topics everyone's like, "Oh, I'm more than you in this, like I'm more of a purist, I'm more of this." So
Mhm.
but I did want to ask you, what's music like in LA? I did interview a band out there and they had a pretty interesting tale. I just wanted to know if how would you describe?
Oh man, it's insane if you can imagine. Have you ever been out here? Music?
Once, yeah, yeah.
Okay. It's probably what you you can imagine, like all walks of life, which is amazing. Melting pot of so many different kinds of music, artists, and ideas. Like everyone out here has like new ideas and new ways of like reinventing themselves. That's why I love being here for that reason. Like LA gets a lot of crap and also, good things about it. And that is one of the good things about it is because there is a lot of artists here, yeah, and it can be sometimes it can be too much in a way, but that's also the beauty of it because everyone is out here to we're all just here. There's a lot of artists here,
So
and
when you made
there's
an
so much
interesting
stuff.
you made an interesting point. You said at times it can become too much, and in what
Hmm.
ways would you is that too much?
Um, it's a good question. I guess I would say too much awesomeness to soak in, because I want to say it in a derogatory way, but too much. Just there's just so much, and you can only take in some, a little bit at a time,
Yeah.
and not that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just
So like you mean as
it's kind of
far
hard to.
as like networking never stops? Is it a constant
Yeah,
like
I guess too much in which aspect? Too much as in like trying to be heard or develop a fan base. It is tough to develop a fan base out here,
mm,
like from the ground up. That's one aspect of it.
Are there times where you ever get discouraged or you feel like you want to take a break from the music scene there or
I think it's good to take breaks. I do feel like taking breaks, but to for inspirational purposes, to reinvent or evolve. That's going back to that evolving thing, man. Like there's only so much you can take, like in general, if you feel like you're running in circles, you know?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
I guess that's what I meant by that. You can connect that to what I said about too much. It's so fast paced, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're constantly thinking, oh, what do we do next? What do we do next? What can we do now? How do we improve our show? You know,
Wow.
how new art, new song, new music. Like it's that kind of starts getting in the air, and that can be too much to think about, sometimes.
Oh, it definitely is. It sounds
Mm.
overwhelming. So what do you all hope to get out of that? Because obviously in such a musical melting pot where it's just so much to offer and going on, how
Mhm.
can what do you all have time limit as to what you expect to achieve as an artist? What level of success you?
Yeah, yeah, we do. And really quick, it's good overwhelming though. It is all good stuff. You know,
Okay.
it's not overwhelming in a bad way. It's just it's just everywhere. You just gotta. I guess I wish I had more time to take it all in and to enjoy it more. That's a good
Mm,
point. Instead of focusing on the work aspect of it,
I see.
as an
I
artist,
see.
I wish I could enjoy it more. Go to more friend shows and you know.
Just
So
kick back and take it all in.
yeah, exactly. So I guess that's the big point of it all. Wish I could enjoy it more.
Wow. Yeah, I mean so and that's kind of the question. So I mean, realistically, not many artists are becoming like mega stars or
Mhm.
millionaires off of this. So, do you guys have like a time limit as to when you expect to give success, you know, a shot or?
Um, yeah, that's a good point, and I'll connect it to your last question because I sorry I didn't really answer that question,
Oh,
but
that's okay.
um, that's why it is important to take breaks. And when you feel like you're not enjoying it, and I'm being very like light with that word, like not enjoying it as in like not fully enjoying it, where you're not appreciating it, giving its full appreciation. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
That's when you set back, and I think that's what all artists do: is set back and get some inspiration. And and Lauren and I are best friends too. We'll go out to the desert, write, work on new music. It's therapeutic, just going back to that magic and that spark and love. Because once you have that, everything just kind of falls into place. It becomes fun again, and
Yeah.
you just are all about doing it more and more and more. So
Okay. All right.
I would say finding inspiration is key. Keeping that inspiration is key.
And then inspiration. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, well, and also it seems like, do you feel like it gets cluttered, like it's too superficial? Are there things that you dislike about it? Because you were saying like the overwhelming aspect of it wasn't in a negative way, but are there like certain things? Because in pop culture, like in movies and television, you see like the LA scene, people get easily discouraged and strung out on drugs and all the classic stories. So I mean,
Yeah, it's true. Those are classic stories.
yeah. Do you all
Sunset
ever?
Boulevard stories.
Exactly. Do you all ever feel like it's just too superficial at times out there? Is it too like cliche
Uh,
or
well, I've lived here for close to 10 years now, and I've seen it change within that 10 years. It's pretty interesting. And it still kind of has that little superficialness in places. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
So, like, I live in the valley outside of, the city, Hollywood City. So it's a little bit more different out here, but
Okay.
kind of like Hollywood, Central Hollywood can kind of have that vibe a little bit because it's a tourist town. It's a big fucking city, too. It has so many things going on, and a lot of people trying to make it here, as well as the people who have made it here. Everyone's just kind of clumped together. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
There's like, yeah, West Hollywood. Like, you run into Adam Sandler. There's movie stars and directors everywhere. They live here, and then there's tons of people are trying to make it here, mixed all together. So it's just kind of like everyone lives here, straight
Right.
up. So I guess I would say the best thing to do is to find those places um, where you feel good, where there's a good vibe, because there's just like any other city, there's local spots out in the outskirts, or you can travel to the beach and go to different places like the desert, Joshua Tree, or it's all about changing up the scenery, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say it seems like with all of that going on there,
Mhm.
being an artist that could become like what kind of like hinder your creativity.
Mhm.
It does seem like there's a benefit to living in the quieter areas like the
Yeah,
Midwest or the South.
yeah, like yeah, Dave Grohl actually his studio is right where I live in Northridge area, and he lives in Woodland Hills, right, really close to where I live too. So yeah, a lot of like musicians live more on the outskirts because we can have studios out here and be loud. You know what I mean? We can
Yeah,
play
yeah.
our drums and play our music and blast it a little bit more.
So that's a great segue into the music. So it's like
Mhm.
inspirational music. So when you're in your experimental mode as a band, where do you start to, where do you get that inspiration?
Mm, man, I love that question. So good, isn't it? Isn't that a great question? Because we all get inspiration. You get inspiration.
Absolutely.
It's just like, dude, and a true artist, I feel, can get inspiration from anything if you really think about it,
True.
Most people do too. But for me personally, what hits me, honestly, people. I love meeting people, amazing people, and like with their stories. And I mean, even it's someone to have a relationship with or connection with, a romantic thing with, just that person. I feel like people impact you so much. And you always feel something with another human being, like instantly, with human energy. So that's definitely a big thing.
That's a
I
deep
think,
point, by the way.
yeah, I know it is, but think about it.
That
Like
was
all the love
very
songs,
lyrical.
love songs are
Yeah.
from another person. Like people are huge inspiration on our hearts and our what we create. So, do you like that?
Sounds like you should write a song with that. I don't know. It's,
But then you have inspiration with the weather and moons and the stars, and that's always fun. You just feel like there's those self inspirational moments,
mm.
those self evolving moments where you get when you just shit. Even if you are having a drink, some wine outside at night, hearing silence could be inspiration. You could feel something from that.
Mm. Okay.
So,
That's a deep question. So you have that all figured out. I just it's so interesting. The reason I partly asked that question was because, there's a big talk about artists ghostwriting or not really contributing as much creativity as you would expect as a
mhm,
fan to their music. And it's easy to see how that could happen because as an artist, you, like you said, get caught in the hustle and bustle and you're out networking or doing shows. So where do you have time to actually write music?
it's true.
So that's why I wanted to ask that question to see how do you still manage to, like you say, it comes from everywhere from for you, but
Mhm.
seems
I
like at a
guess,
certain point it becomes just too hard
yeah,
to.
that's yeah, it's a really good question. I guess hope you don't mind me getting a little deep there. But an easy way, I guess I would say for to simplify your question and for your listeners, other artists out there, I'm sure they can all attest, we can all attest to this, is honestly other music is inspiration,
Mm,
you know? Like I get even going to a show, you get inspired just going to a show, seeing your friend's band or seeing a band you love. That's why we go to shows. Inspiration is addicting. Like
mm.
whether you know it or not, it's part of life really. It gets you excited. It's passion, it's connected to the heart. Like inspiration is huge. So, yeah, just listening to music, songs in the car, just pop, even if it's an old album that you grew up with, just pop that bad boy on and you kind of get those fuzzy feelings inside. You know what I mean? Those inspirational feelings.
I hear you. Actually, and that does sort of beg the question. So, is there a thin line between being inspired and actually picking up bits and pieces of someone else's creations?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Yeah, exactly. That's very important. Because
And
yeah,
so,
I run into a couple of people who struggle with songwriting, and that's when you realize you kind of have something too. Like songwriting, I feel like the best possible cases are you either have it or you don't, right?
right,
And when you have it, it just feels so natural, and it just happens naturally. So when there are people who don't have that, and like, how do you do that? How do you write? Like, they, it's it's almost yeah, it's almost like a just a feeling. It is a talent, songwriting, if it comes natural, because you can get caught in um that box, like you said. Oh, I want to write a song like this and make it sound exactly like this, and then you got. And to me, I mean, I don't know why you would want to write something that's already been done exactly. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird, but I feel like people do that as an exercise because they don't know how to write a song. So they're like, I can see that maybe as like an exercise to do something like that. But then obviously you would want to, be you in it, put you inside there in that formula. So it's unique and original and you, a part of you. So,
so that's
um,
also a question of have you ever found yourself maybe crossing that line and maybe
mhm.
taking something.
Sometimes I do actually. Yeah. Sometimes they're like, ugh. Or you write the same song kind of over and over. You know what I mean? That's like, man, then I wrote 10 songs about this thing, you know?
Yeah.
So there's so many things involved if you think about it, like lyrical content, topics. Yeah, you do kind of think about that here and there, but it's not really a driving force, but it is a third eye, I would say, for me personally.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of, artists and musicians think that way too. Just like actors, you don't want to be in the same movie over and over, right?
Right.
Johnny Depp's got to be burnt out on Jack Sparrow by now.
I was just thinking that. Right.
So, um, yeah, I guess I do find that to answer your question. Yeah. So I try not to do that when I feel that. Yeah,
Just step
it,
away
it is
from
nice to
it.
try to get out of that. Yeah, for sure.
Now, if we were to go through your iPod list right now, what songs, what songs are
Oh
what
shit.
would we find?
Oh man. Well, I just gotta think. Well, okay. Me personally, I love all types of music. I'm sure you do too.
Absolutely.
Uh, so I always have a bunch of things on there, from classic rock, Led Zeppelin, to some Clash. I had some Dr. Dre on there. Man, oh, I've been listening to the 1975 a lot lately.
Oh, that's
They're
actually my
cool. I love them. They're kind of funky.
favorite.
Uh, that's a tough question.
Hmm.
Uh, how about favorite bands?
Well, do you have any like playlists like this is a rock playlist, or do you just kind of just
Right.
have it all thrown in?
Exactly. That's how I do it typically.
Hmm.
So honestly, this question's tough, man, because it's too much to think about, and your brain explodes.
Well, I mean, that's good as a musician to have that answer because that means
Yeah.
you're doing the right things as part of the profession to be,
I'll tell you my phases I've had that might help my brain harness on bands. So I was raised classic rock, so Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, guitar playing. That was my inspiration for learning guitar. Doors, Rolling Stones, The Beatles, and then like you get in my punk stuff like The Clash, Ramones, and then I even have my '80s vibe, Def Leppard, Lauren Love's Madonna, and then your '90s vibe. I grew up in the '90s, my adolescent years, so Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Stone Temple Pilots, a lot of Beastie Boys, Run DMC, hip hop stuff in there, early hip hop, and then I had a pop punk phase. You mentioned punk earlier.
Yeah.
Pop punk phase. A lot of pop punk bands: Green Day, Blink, Offspring, and then that's why music is so awesome now. It's not really categorized with genres and decades. It used to be
Yeah.
80s, 90s, and now it's just fucking everything. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I could see it is a revolution occurring when you answered
Hmm.
the question the first time. That's like where everyone seems to be headed, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, you still hear arguments from, I guess so-called purists. Because
Hmm.
I remember like when I was listening earlier on in my musical experiences, people you had to listen to hip hop, where I was
Right.
from, and
Hmm.
you couldn't if you listened to Green Day or Nirvana, then
Hmm.
you were weird and they thought whatever about you. So like,
Yeah.
so you were afraid, like, if you turn on the radio and you hear a pop song or a Green Day, you're like, you can't like it even though you like it. So it's
Yeah,
like,
that's interesting. That's in Cleveland. You felt that in
yeah,
Cleveland?
oh yeah, absolutely. Growing
Hmm.
up on Cleveland's East Side, but it's interesting now where I like where people, because even like in hip hop now, there's such a fusion of sounds. It's not
Right.
so.
Exactly. Exactly. Like hip hop now is amazing. Like I'm so happy with some of those artists, how they fused everything. Even
Yeah.
Kanye, like he's got gospel and works with everything now. It's
Well, my
like,
question is interesting because recently one of the biggest like trending topics in music news last year was hip hop becoming the most prominent genre amongst all. It's on Billboard and so forth.
mhm.
What's your take on that transition?
I think that's great. I think that's awesome because, like I said, they've evolved properly and people have accepted it and lived with it and grown with it. And like they've changed. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's almost a contradiction, right, from how people were in the past. That's a sign of growth if you think about it.
Right.
It's awesome because now, like, look at hip hop and look at all the different styles they do now, and it's the biggest music right in the world. So, um, it's just cool. That's good stuff. I like it. I
So
think
where
it's
does
really great.
that so where does that put Ashes of Luna in that?
Yeah, it's tough for my what I'm trying to do, right? What we're trying to do.
It seems so. It would seem that way, but you
Yeah,
know,
Matt Bellamy just came out and said, Matt from Muse. He just came out and said this just came out the other day. Lauren, uh, by the way, loves Matt. We all love Matt. We're huge Muse fans. He said the guitar is dead. And isn't that crazy?
that is crazy.
And he's like one of the biggest, you know,
Like,
rock band in the biggest rock band I'd say in the world. And for him to say that, I was like,
yeah,
wow. So that's just kind of where we're going, right? It's
that's a watershed.
yeah. For him to say that, like the guitar
Yeah,
is is dying, it is dead. So I'm sure he was saying that like maybe loose and freely, but his point is taken. If you really think about it, it
yeah.
kind of is dead.
I get what he's saying. I can visualize what he's saying.
Yeah.
But that's actually like it's like a watershed moment with just that
Mhm.
that caption. It says a lot.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So, I mean, the thing is, hip hop's great, and they have so many good things going for them.
So again, so for Ashes of Luna, do you all see that pushing you in a positive
I
direction?
mean,
Does
I
that
love
fit
hip hop
within your?
beats. That's what I'm saying. Our new
Yeah,
stuff is kind of more dancey,
yeah,
electronic.
it
It's
is
like hip hop.
definitely
That's why I love. Yeah, right. Hip hop is very like broad. You can do that with anything, really, if you think about it in
true.
its own way, which is cool. Um, like even Lana Del Rey, she's starting to get more hip hoppy and raps more, in her
Yeah,
music, and it's just those beats, hip hop beats, you just love. You feel good. It's comforting. You move, you can snap to it, walk to it, dance to it, work out to it. You can do everything to it, right? Like
right.
a good beat. So
So in other words, and it doesn't affect you all. It's just another tool you all can use to just progress along.
yeah, Yeah,
Okay,
honestly,
that's
I've never
interesting.
thought about that, but it's kind of cool that you asked that question to get me thinking about that. Yeah, who knows? Again, no limits or restraints. I mean, maybe we could get Lauren to bust out some raps, and some of our new tunes. See how it flows. But see, that's what I love about hip hop and rap. It's poetry. We're talking poetic words with feeling, right? And
Absolutely.
like that can be incorporated in everything, in anything.
So that's I guess because most of the questions I've been asking are kind of centered along, because as an artist, I mean, unless you really love just making the music, over
Mhm.
time you want to be compensated for all the hard work and effort you put in.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure you all have aspirations to get that recognition. I mean, there are some artists who don't care about that. I mean, that's a good question. Do you care about that? Getting to that level of recognition and compensation, monetary gain.
Um, I mean, it's nice to have a goal such as that in the distance, something to work for and strive for. But it's not a core worry or something that is how do I word it? It's not dwelling on me personally. Like I don't think about that too much. I would say more I don't want to say appreciated. What's another word? Just maybe just listened. I don't know. Just listen to it and give it a chance. How about that?
I
Given a
see.
chance. Yeah,
Given a
given a
chance.
chance. So, because I don't like people who are too quick to judge, and that happens a lot. And people get shelved and put in boxed areas again with the whole genre thing. Oh, they're just that band, another that band, or they're another
Yeah.
that artist.
Right.
I never want to have that. I never want to be that like thought on a person. And if I can make someone not feel that through my music too, that's even amazing. That's what I really would want to do, strive for. So, um, obviously, we want this to be our life and our job and make money and live comfortably and eat right and
Right. Yeah.
make it our livelihood. So, me personally, I don't need to be rich and famous, but it would just be nice to write and create and do what I love with the people I love and share it with other people who love what you're doing. It's like
Right.
it's all fucking love. Can you imagine just going to shows every day? People are there and you're just getting love every night. you know?
And what's so crazy is that this whole revolution of music, I think this attitude is part of the change because it's 20 years ago. There's not one person as an artist you probably would have come across that wouldn't have said they wanted to be signed to a major
Hmm.
label and have the big house and cars and all of
Yeah,
that. So it's
yeah. It's
interesting.
not about that anymore. That is a good
Yeah.
revelation. It really isn't about that anymore. You know, it's and it's happened because it's tough to get there anyway. So it's like, dude, that's too much to even. That's why I said it's too far. You can't even like dwell on that. But if you get there, that's amazing. And I feel like that it helps too an artist because it's almost like blows your expectations. Like you didn't go in it in the first place for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're kind of already humble in that way. And you're gonna stay humble that way because that trajectory, that growth keeps you grounded, It didn't come in an instant with a snap of the finger. So you can appreciate it more and then you can just be humble more and respect it more.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
just that's interesting perspective because it's like this whole just humble attitude. Everyone's just as long as they're like you said, as long as you're creating and you can make a
yeah.
living and put food on the table, then
Yeah.
that's the goal,
Like
to
look
do.
at Bruno Mars. He's worked his ass off. He
Yeah,
deserves it. Like he just won what, like 6 Grammys?
yeah, he won a lot that night.
He
Yeah.
deserves it though. Like when he won, weren't you thinking like, yeah, yeah, he deserves it?
Oh yeah, yeah. He
And
has
he's talented
everything.
as hell. He's humble. He's fun. He's cool. He's real. He's like he actually one of my best friends works at a studio in North Hollywood, and I guess it was like, man, 8 years ago, eight, close to 8 years ago. Bruno was out here starting out, and he went into the studio and he paid my friend, you know, hey man, can, can you restring my guitar and tune it, man? You seem like you do a great job, and I'll throw you $20. And he just said he seems so cool, and he bought him like a soda and everything. My friend who works there, so I was just like, he
Wow,
just seems
that's an
kind of like
amazing story.
grassroots like that.
Yeah, that's a cool story, actually.
Yeah. And he said he seems so nice, and my friend was telling me about him, and
So let's talk about the SoundCloud. So some of the latest music on there we touched on not too long ago is more dance, definitely like electro pop kind of feel to it. Definitely a
hmm
little hip hop in there too, of
hmm
course. So where are you all headed with that this year with this sound and these singles that you all have out?
we're gonna be performing more live, more shows. Because when we write in the studio first, and then we bring it to the band and our musicians, and try to figure out how to execute it live. And it's always different live. How it translates differently live, than this record album
Right, of course.
song. So we want to like make it more beefy, and because we are a rock band. We have two guitars and drums and bass, so we have that going on with electronic music, and it's actually fun trying to figure out how to put that all together for the live performance. Even like hip hop has like live bands. You want that human element, that live element, you
Right,
know.
right.
Like I saw Eminem and he had a whole fucking live band. Him and Rihanna, they did that dual tour, Eminem and Rihanna,
Oh yeah, okay, okay.
and he had a whole live band, saxophone, guitar player, drums. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's cool because it's all hip hop with it too.
Okay.
And so just playing more shows and just trying to get our music out there too. With we have a couple things going on with getting our music and maybe a
Well,
movie or a TV show or something, because our music is very cinematic,
it
even to
is. I would, yeah, that's a good word to describe it. I do
yeah.
like
So
I said, it's like kind of emotional and has
mhm.
like a soft rock feel, especially the earlier your second project. So
Yeah. So I mean, that would be amazing if we could be in a cool project like that with our music.
do
I'm all
you?
about collabing too. I want to
Yeah.
collab a lot more, whether it's with other producers or you know using our music at
Do
an
you
art
all
show
ever?
or what's that?
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. Just wanted to throw something out there about the fans. Do the fans inspire your work at all, or how is the feedback from the fans, and how do they?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. It's always nice to hear what they have to say about it.
What's the feedback on some of the newer music you put out?
Oh, they love it. They're loving it. They're they're really digging it. We don't have too many long intros anymore. I don't know if you heard some of our earlier stuff. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right? We just have we we just had too much fun in the studio. Like Lauren and I, that's why we were so free in the beginning, and we worked with a new producer with this new stuff, and it's just nice to have a little bit of a pilot like that to kind of drive you. You know what I'm saying? But still
Yeah.
get you. That's why having working with a producer is so huge, very huge. That's why that's always a big discussion, and why people look for the right producer for them.
Yeah,
It's like
because that's
finding
a
like your tattoo artist or something, someone who
right.
gets you and can project you in with what they have to do or what they do, and that's their job really, is to bring worlds together in a sense. They're playing God in a sense. They're bringing it all together.
So now that you all are, planning on pretty much doing new shows this year and everything, where can people most likely expect to find the most updated content from you all? Which platform?
We're on all the sites, all the social media sites, and all the streaming sites, Spotify, whatever your poison is. What do you use Apple Music?
I use primarily Apple Music now.
That's
Yeah,
cool. I
but
need
I
to get
was.
on that. That's
It's okay because I mean you end up needing all of them because you'll find Tidal has a song that Spotify doesn't have, but
hmm
Apple has it, and vice versa.
right.
I don't know if they
Exactly.
do that on
Exactly.
purpose,
That's
but
yeah.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure everyone has it multiple.
Yeah.
Can't you like with Apple? Can't you get people's playlists
Yeah,
too?
you can send it's like kind of its own social network. I haven't really gotten into it, but I know you can follow artists and I think other users on there.
hmm
And yeah, you can share music and playlists and
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So the people can you all are on iTunes as well and Spotify?
Yeah, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. Ashes of Luna is the band name,
Ashes of Luna. All right. And
and hope everyone likes the music.
where are you guys at on Instagram? Your Instagram name?
Ashes of Luna.
At Ashes of Luna and Facebook.
Ashes, Ashes of
Ashes
Luna.
of
Yeah,
Luna
we
too.
lucked out getting Ashes of Luna everything. No underscores.
That'll make it easy for people to find you. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. And what else? Anything, any words you want to send out to fans and listeners where your next show is or what
Um,
anything they should know?
yeah, we're gonna be playing hopefully soon this summer. A couple shows in LA. We always like to have a few shows going on, and just follow us on Instagram, and we're always posting updates with what we're doing, and we want to do some more live streaming too. That's really huge, the
It
live
is.
stream stuff. So
Everyone's going live these days.
yeah, live stream. Every time I look at my phone, Instagram
I
live stream.
know.
Going back to overwhelming, right? But that's good. Good overwhelming.
That's subjective, I guess.
I know, but I'm saying like, oh man, what's Matt doing? What's
Oh
what's
yeah.
this band doing? What's this band doing?
Oh, I see. From that, yeah.
um, but anywho, so yeah.
Well, we we'll definitely keep up to date with you. Well, I mean, so there's no new EP coming out this year or
No,
nothing.
nothing right now.
Okay.
We're writing though. We're writing. We want to write. We want to constantly be writing. I'd like to write at least like have one or two songs, cooking a month at least.
Hmm.
One, two solid ideas that we're both feeling and want to
Okay.
dive into. So,
Well,
um,
we're definitely here for your music as well. Always a platform for indie artists. So
cool.
apologize for the technical difficulties earlier.
No, this has been great. This has been great.
All right, and one last the show is yours. So if you have any shout outs or anything you feel is important to say, then
Oh man, shout outs. Hi mom. No, well, obviously, I got to shout out my girl, Lauren Samuels, who's the other half of Ashes, and she couldn't be here today. She really wishes she could, but she's with her niece celebrating the birthday. So, yeah, I guess. Um, thank you everyone for listening.
as well, that's been fun. It's been fun. Sorry,
Yeah,
it's a little, how it is on Sunday. But
yeah, it is.
all right, well,
It's
you
sunny out
take
here. About to go jump in the pool.
you are for real, seriously.
Yeah, I have a pool right here. So
You're lucky. All right. Well, thanks for
come
everyone.
hang out.
I
Come out here
will.
and hang out.
I'm gonna try to get out there this year for real.
Let's be in
So,
touch.
oh, no doubt. Actually, I'll follow
It'd be
you
cool to meet.
guys. Oh yeah, for real, definitely. Yeah, I need to get out more out of here when I can. So, but
Mm.
anyway, this is at Louder Than Music. You can follow us at Louder Than Music. Yes, I'm the industry.com for the latest in music news. Also bringing you what you don't know about music. Thank you for the tuning into the relaunch of our podcast. We have Brandon here, one half of Ashes of Luna, and we're out.
Bye.